If you are someone on the verge of retirement, whether it's 3 months from now or 3 years from now, I want you to hear today's video because it is truly something I want you to think about before you actually pull the trigger and retire. Because to be quite honest, you might not be ready for it yet. And I don't want you to go through something that I went through early on in my retirement and I'm still working through today, but I can kind of see where I went wrong. And it is a completely avoidable situation that has nothing to do with money or anything like that. But let's start there, because when we are thinking about retirement and when people ask us, are you ready to retire? Generally, our brains go to our portfolios and our income sources and how are we going to support ourselves in retirement. And when we've got that figured out, then of course we're ready for retirement. Duh. At least that's how I thought. I was completely fixated on the financial picture that was going to give me this huge sense of relief. And that relief was going to come from me no longer having to do all of the things I had to do, particularly when I was in corporate. So I hated my job when I was in corporate. I hated the commute. I hated getting up early. I hated working in a cubicle, the clothes I had to wear, the meetings I had to attend. I hated every aspect of it. And that is why I got so pumped about the idea of early retirement and just became obsessive about it. And what I didn't realize then, that I realize now, is that I was completely unprepared for probably the second most important aspect of retirement. I will say, I think financial preparedness is probably the most important thing, but the close runner-up reason as to whether or not you're going to be ready for retirement is whether you are moving towards something or moving away from something. I was 100% laser focused on moving away from something. And when I got to retirement, it was not at all what I expected. So let me unpack what I mean. Like I said, I got excited about early retirement because I hated my job, I hated my commute, I hated all of these various different things I listed off, right? And in my mind, when I hit that magic number, my life was going to completely change because I would no longer have to do all of these things that I felt obligated to do. And that is the mindset that does not serve you in retirement. It will feel good for a little while to have that relief. But here's the thing. Feeling relief is not a life plan. It is not a future orientation for your future self to just feel the relief of pain and suffering that you've felt for the last 20 or 30 years or however long you've been working, right? Instead, what I wish someone had told me is that you are in a far more prepared state for retirement when you are looking forward to the things that you do want. I can't wait until I can spend more time with my grandkids, more time in the garden, more time doing DIY projects, more time traveling. When you are in a position where you are still working, but you are looking forward towards the life that you want, you are in the best position to retire because you're already thinking about it. You're already planning it. And hopefully you're already starting to integrate those things into your life. However, when you are focused on retirement because you no longer want to be your old self, it's like, imagine retirement's over here and you are literally going at it this way. You are looking at your retirement through the lens of the person you used to be and the life you used to have and all the things you no longer want. And what happens then is that you get to the other side and again, it feels like relief for a little while, but then all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, because those things are gone now, but you haven't really thought about who you want to be in the future and what this new version of you looks like. And that is when you had this whole existential crisis that I'm currently having, hence the reason why I've created this channel to share said existential crisis with all y'all. So I now realize that that is probably the biggest reason why I was completely unprepared for retirement. And it has made me question whether or not I really want to retire at all. And again, this conversation has nothing to do with money. I do have my own financial anxieties that often, creep up in the middle of the night, but I'm managing those now. This entirely has to do with my life, what I value, what's important to me, and how I want to enjoy life going forward. So it's not the end of the world. It's not like I want to, go find myself a full-time job now and forget the idea of retirement entirely. But I do wish that I had taken a different perspective on things prior to leaving work But I am where I am now. And the best I can do is, share the experience that I'm having in real time. And I want to give you an example of someone who did this the right way, not my way. I believe her name is Lisa, and her channel is Happy on Mondays. And I started watching her channel, I think last year or maybe the year before. I can't remember. Anyways, it was really early on. And I have followed her journey through early retirement. I think she's 60 now, but she retired when she was maybe 58. And she's so happy. And she shares all of the things that she's doing now, all of the things that she is looking forward to. And in my view, she's someone who took the time to really think about what she wanted her future to look like rather than just focusing on the things she wanted to run away from, even though she did not like her job. She talked about that. She was more focused on the things that were to come. So I think she's a great example. There's lots of great examples of this, but she's someone who did it with intention and was forward looking as opposed to backward looking, as I feel like I was. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And I also want to know, if you are planning on retiring, where are you? Like, are you on the I can't wait to get away from these things? Or are you on the trajectory of I can't wait to move towards these things? And also, if you are retired, I want to hear from all of you. Do you agree with what I've said, or do you disagree with what I've said? I'm sure there's some people who had completely different experience. This is just my rambling, and I would love to hear yours too. So on that note, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time. Ciao for now.